Welcome back. Let me introduce Stephanie Friedman, VP of Sales and Marketing for City Paper Company. Stephanie, welcome.
Hi, CJ. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm great. I must
Great.
really like you for agreeing to be on camera because I do not like being on camera.
No, you'll do fine. Also, Lee Fine, Head of Sales and Strategy for Juice Marketing, will be joining us shortly. He's having a little bit of technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a virtual conference without some sort of technical difficulties.
Always going to happen.
No worries. When Lee's ready, we'll bring him on stage. So again, hello everybody. I'm excited to be back for the second day of the Power Summit, and I've got another great topic to talk about today: new revenue streams. So in our coverage for ASI Media, we've seen a definite trend in the past few years of companies, distributors in particular, expanding their services, expanding beyond promo, and really becoming that sort of one-stop shop for their clients. And so today we're going to talk about why that makes a lot of sense and get into the nitty-gritty of some of those services in particular. Luckily, you don't have to rely on just me in my thoughts. We have great panelists as well. So Stephanie and Lee, who will be joining shortly. Both City Paper Company and Juice Marketing do a really great job. They have a unique and diverse set of services that they offer. And so I'm very excited to tap into our panelists' expertise. Before we get started, just a couple of things. We do have a poll, and you can take that on the right side of your screen. You shall see the stage area, stage chat, and it'll say polls underneath stage. That's where you can take the poll. Also, if you have questions or comments, we'll be checking those comments and questions throughout the session. And again, under stage, you'll see the chat area. That's where you put it. Okay, let's get to meet our panelist right now and know a little bit more about her. So Stephanie, can you just tell me more about City Paper Company and the services that you offer?
Absolutely. So City Paper Company, we are based in Birmingham, Alabama. And there's Lee. Hi, Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Hi, guys.
I'm glad we got that sorted out.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on user error.
That's
it's all good. You're here now.
So Lee, we haven't got far, by the way, just doing our intros, and Stephanie's just telling us a little bit about City Paper.
Yes. So I am Stephanie Friedman. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at City Paper Company. We are based in Birmingham, Alabama. Next year, we are entering our 125th year in business. Wow. So we are a very, very old company with a lot of very young people, and we have seen it all throughout the years. I've been with the company for now almost 8 years. My husband, Brad, is our CEO and president, and he is fourth generation City Paper. So his great-grandfather helped start the company and took it over. His grandfather took over at 18. And then his uncle and father ran it up until the time that Brad and I took over. So we run it with Brad's father. And as I said, we're 125 years old next year. So we have literally seen it all, from world wars to Great Depressions to pandemics.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm excited to talk about this topic today because I think it's very relevant to some of the experiences that we've seen in our organization over the years, and why it is so important to have different revenue streams to help carry you through difficult times.
And Stephanie, real quick, just give us the rundown of what services you do offer.
Absolutely. So we really started off with retail packaging. I'm sure I'll talk about that in a little bit, which was a huge foundation for our organization, hence our name, City Paper Company. And about 40 years ago, we started in the promotional product space, surely out of a need for some of our customers asking about it. And since then, we have added e-commerce. We have an in-house graphic design studio. We do warehousing, fulfillment, kitting, and even down to event planning as well. Any of those are all areas where we see a revenue stream and where we are able to provide our skill set and our services. Okay,
great. All right, Lee, tell us about Juice Marketing. Tell us about the services that you offer.
I feel like I should have gone first because we're 7 years old. So I'm not a math guy, but they're a lot older than us.
Age is just a number, Lee.
Right.
So Juice Marketing started in 2014. My business partner and I started it. We worked for one of the larger players in the promotional product space. He for 17 years, me for 10. We just got tired of starring in someone else's dream, I guess being an extra in someone else's dream.
Sure.
I just wanted to do some things differently. So we left and started our own company, Juice Marketing. We're based in Seattle, Washington. I'm the head of sales and strategy. Robert, my business partner, also is very heavily involved in sales, but also manages and oversees our operations side of our business. We do a lot of the same stuff that Stephanie and her team do, and we do a few different things as well. So yes, promotional products, web development, online stores, fulfillment, pick, pack, and ship, special projects. We also do video production. I'm a video guy. Back in the day, I started in this industry, not to date myself, in 1998. I've been doing it for a long time as well. But prior to that, I went to film school and worked as a film editor. And I always saw an opportunity for video to play a role in our space. So we added that, and it's become a pretty significant piece of our business, as has web development. So we do a ton of web projects that have nothing to do with promotional products or online stores, in addition to the ones we do that have significance play in the online store piece. And we also are a supplier. We have an exclusive relationship with Levi's. So we started another company called Rockhouse Brands. We've since, in the last, I think, 2.5, 3 years, solidified our relationship with Hit Promotional Products, to distribute Levi's on behalf of us. So we own the relationship. And we said, why are we trying to pretend to be a big supplier in this space? It's not what we do. Let's lock arms with someone who is, and hence the Hit relationship. And we play awkwardly with a couple of other companies within our space on the product side. So we are a partner of Staples, which is interesting because we're technically competitors, but we oversee and manage their NFL license agreement as well. Robert and I played heavily in that space in our prior days at BDA, and so they came knocking a couple of years ago saying, we have this license agreement, we don't know how to activate it, will you join us? And so we do that too.
Wow, so that's a lot. Lee, in your case, having started the company just 7 years ago, did you start with all those services right from the beginning? And sort of like, what did you lead with in those initial stages, and then what have you added since?
Yep, web, video, and promo are what we started with. The fulfillment, the kind of pick, pack, and ship program was added later. The reason we brought video and web in was because we were just trying to get in through the back door of clients. We had some really nice experience working with big brands. And while there's nothing wrong with knocking on doors and kind of taking the t-shirt order for the small pizza shop, we just wanted to really leverage our capability and know-how from our previous life and kind of, reinvest in that aspect, working with big brands. We also knew that a lot of them had established relationships. So we thought if we can go in through a different entrance, offering video services and web services, naturally the conversation will come up with events and promotional products, and they certainly did. And that's kind of why that was our strategy, to really kind of offer other services.
Okay, great. Now, Stephanie, you mentioned initially, at least the history of the company, what you started with, adding promo products. So in terms of at least that current suite of offerings, like, do they all come at once? Did you add them gradually? How did you sort of arrive at the current mix of services that you do have?
So packaging has really been our foundation as a company for so many years. And I think that we, in a similar way that Lee was mentioning in terms of using sort of the video as you're in to make and separate and differentiate yourself. And I, like Lee, also came from a very big corporate promotional product world where I did sales and marketing. And I had this feeling as I came over that, City Paper could really, really utilize the opportunity of our packaging vendors, who are our packaging customers, who are some of the largest retailers in the world, to really be able to utilize some of our other services to be able to offer. And so much like that, we leveraged what we were already knew we did well, and just showed them how creative we can be in other areas. And then, so the promotional side really started to expand and sort of explode as we showed creativity and really showed what we could do. But then everything else just sort of tumbled after that. As a customer comes to you with a need to say, well, do you offer e-commerce services? I knew a lot about e-commerce services, but wasn't sure if City Paper was in a place to really be able to do that. But our team really evaluated that and said, it's time to add that. We had a warehouse, so we knew how to do the fulfillment, and finding the right partners to really be able to offer the best web development that we possibly could, integrate it with our system. So really, nothing comes all at once. I think everything is really laying foundations and building and growing as your customers are asking about certain things. And I think the very, very best companies are the ones that are going to roll their sleeves up and figure out how to say yes. And sometimes that means you do need to step back and say, this is not something that's going to be in my wheelhouse, but also knowing the right partners to lean on to say, well, I don't do that very well, but I know who does. And I really think karma always comes back in a really great way when you're able to leverage those relationships. So for us, it was really truly about adding, as our customers really brought that need to us, and us sort of, figuring out how to really put the best possible options available out there to our customers. I think so much of that is based on who you will partner with and who you work with.
And well, we can talk a little bit later about like how Smartly adds services. Stephanie, in your case, you mentioned companies clients coming to you asking about these services, but still, that's time, that's money to sort of invest in these added things. So where was the value for your company in to say, like, we're gonna offer all these different things, or expand beyond what our core offering is?
So I would be lying if I didn't say that we had made missteps along the way in terms of bringing on an e-commerce customer that was not profitable enough, or that was very time consuming. And so I think for us, we're better at it now than we were 7 years ago. And in terms of how we structure those contracts and what sort of expectations we have. So the thing that I like to say to a client that's talking to me about bringing on a program business, for example, is that I like to date before we get married. So I want to get to know you. I want you to get to know us. I want to be able to really have a good foundation of a working relationship to understand what your expectations are and can we successfully meet them. I think that when we are able to do that, the revenue tends to be better, the profit tends to be better, the resources tend to be less consuming, and we are able to better structure how to meet their needs and fulfill a program, whether it is a $150,000 customer or whether it's $1.5 million customer. So I think so much of that is about truly doing your due diligence, asking questions, and really giving it time, not forcing the relationship or the customer just out of sheer opportunity. Sometimes an opportunity isn't necessarily one that we need to take, and not being afraid to walk away from it because you're not the best fit is an okay thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And Lee, in your case, same sort of idea, serving multiple needs for your clients. Like, again, like obviously that requires different skill sets. Selling an imprinted mug is different than creating a video. Where's the value for you guys, and how do you sort of present yourself to your clients to say, like, come to us for all these different needs?
Yeah, Stephanie answered a lot of that the way I would. So thank you. So just rewind and listen to her answer, and then we can move on.
Done.
Well, I think that traditionally people in the corporate space get very accustomed, and comfortable using language like not our core competency, or it's not what we do, or we're great at this and not that. And I'm not here to suggest that we can just say yes to everything. We absolutely know when we're not the right fit for something. But like Stephanie had mentioned with their approach, we kind of roll up our sleeves and figure it out. And that's allowed us to kind of maybe have perhaps some sleepless nights, but also allowed us to explore opportunities that we never would have been able to explore had we just gone to the staple answer. And so we have the ability to be pretty nimble and do things creatively, But we also have clients that just use us for what they need. We don't have an expectation that they have to use us for all the services we offer. A lot of our clients have in-house video, so we don't press that. And they'll come to us saying, hey, we're overwhelmed, can you help? And we'll happily take on a project opportunity. We do more non-promotional website work than we do promotional website work. And oddly enough, we do it for some of the world's largest tech brands. And so Indeed.com, that's all they do. They're a web-based platform. We build websites for them. That seems like an oxymoron, but it works because they need us, and we figure out how to get it done.
Okay, great. And Lee, there's a question from Larry Trainer. He asked, do you do the video or do you have a partner who creates it?
So we do all video and web is in-house. If there's a large project, we've done commercials for Amazon and it's a 30-person crew. That's not all in-house. We will absolutely leverage individual contractors for certain projects, but pre-production, production, and post-production, including animation, motion graphics, editing, everything is done under the Juice roof.
Okay. Digital, that's a popular topic. In fact, for our poll question, we asked, again, which additional revenue stream has the most potential for your business? It was kind of across the board of printing and signage, digital marketing, kitting, even e-commerce. They were all sort of similar percentages, about 25%. So, I think there's a lot of interest in different streams. Digital is a popular option. Lee, just going back to you, like, do you treat your digital business the same way as your promo business, or do you treat it how do you treat it differently?
My digital business is significantly more profitable than my promotional business. Okay. So I don't treat it differently.
Don't leave the promo industry. We want you still.
Promotional is still the majority of our gross income for sure. The larger opportunity for us is all three. And I know that's a lame answer, but it's the truth. I mean, we are having our best year in our company short history comparatively to Stephanie's business. But we're seeing significant growth in all aspects of our business, right? So the opportunity for us is to just keep going. It's not really to focus on one service offering more than the others. It's to make sure that we're scalable to continue growing at the rate we are and that we want to grow.
Okay. I want to cover kitting and fulfillment because that's a popular topic right now, and it's certainly boomed during the pandemic.
Yes, it did.
Stephanie, let's start with you. I mean, what did it take for your company to get involved in that business, and how easy or difficult has it been to add that offering?
So we've had a warehouse for the last 70 years. So we've been doing kitting and fulfillment for many, many years. However, in the last 10, I would say it's really geared more towards print and promotional marketing materials. Typically, it's probably been just more relevant to packaging. I think that it has, there are certain projects that are very, very cumbersome, very specific, and really require a lot of detail, and really requires my team to have a very, very involved approach with how we structure the setup of that whole program. So a lot of times we're working on tight deadlines, we're working with very specific customer requests, and we're working with Lord knows how many drop ships. So a lot of times it does require a lot of really detailed understanding of what the specifics are for the program and what is being requested, because what can happen is you undervalue the amount of time that it's going to take, the number of touches that you've done, and then you have lost money by your team spending so much time putting the resources out there that you have not really accounted for how much time they're away from their desks, what they're doing, who's out there, if you have to get temps. There's a whole slew of things to really, truly consider as you take that on. Now, that being said, there are wonderful fulfillment companies and partners in our industry that specialize specifically in kitting and fulfillment. And I would say, if you're looking for a place to start, that is what I would do, because they will tell you about how much. Once you give them the scope of the project, they'll give you a really good understanding of the questions that need to be asked, and they'll guide you through the process. And then as you learn, you get a better understanding for how to really put a value and a measure on the amount of time and the amount of touches, and really the whole set of resources that are going into bringing that project to life. But I will tell you, it makes you so sticky with your customers, and it makes them so happy when you're able to really fulfill a project like that. And I think it just adds a tremendous amount of value as a consultant and as a partner.
Great. Lee, same question to you about kitting fulfillment. I mean, what kind of I want to say burden, what kind of undertaking is it for you as a company?
It's I talked about this project with Sarah on your team in an interview. This is a project we did for Amazon for the Boston Marathon last year, which was, they just had their 125th. They started the same year as Stephanie's company. They just had their 125th anniversary this year. There was a live marathon again, but last year was their first ever virtual marathon. We did 33,000 kits that shipped to 87 countries around the world, and talking about the legwork and the sleepless nights and the variable data and the tracking. I talked with Sarah when she interviewed me months ago about, I know more laws about international shipping in many countries than I've ever even been to or really knew where they were. So there's a lot to digest when doing a fulfillment project. We manage our smaller fulfillment projects in-house, and Stephanie had made mention about using a supplier within our space that does that or solely does that. We leverage a third-party fulfillment house to do our larger fulfillment projects.
We do the same. I think it's so much more valuable as a company to let people do what they do well, and sometimes it's just worth it to outsource it.
Yep.
And maybe that's good advice about like what can you handle in-house versus what you can outsource. That seems to be a running theme definitely for this topic. Okay, we have a couple minutes left, so just want to sort of pose a couple of wrap-up questions. Lee, we can start with you. One, are there services that you're looking to add that you don't already have? And then two, what's your general advice for if someone again is looking to add a service? Like what's your $1 million advice for how they can do it best?
I'll start with the second question first, which is stop telling yourself you can't do something. Obviously, we have to make smart decisions and do the due diligence to understand if it's something that we can take on. But it's so easy to say no or we can't. And it's hard to say you can and go for it. So my advice is do your homework, but don't be afraid. Our industry specifically, I feel like, lives in this silo. We offer promotional products, branded merchandise, swag. That's what we do. Stay in your lane. And we say to hell with that. Like, push the boundaries, go for it, try something different. It's a $30 billion industry, I'm told now, and there's no one that has more than 2.5% of the pie, which means that's great. There's a lot of business to be had. Keep pressing, but try something else that's going to give your business an opportunity to kind of appear differently and just another promotional products provider. On the first question about us looking to do something else, in the last 5 months, I'm thinking, should we get into screen printing and embroidery? Because every screen printer and embroidery house right now is maxed. Lead times are out of control. I'm banging my head against the wall when our team comes to us saying 4 weeks to do 250 shirts with a one color, one location. And I get it. I'm not blaming our decorators. It just seems like, should we bring this in-house? The answer is we're absolutely not going to bring this in-house. We're just having
Lee, talk to me about this offline because we've done it before.
We're not going to do it. I know that it's not what we want to do. Right now, our focus is to really kind of maximize our opportunity with our existing services. I'm always looking at new things because my self-diagnosed ADD brain doesn't shut off. But we want to scale what we've got. We think we've got something special and we want to grow it, healthy.
Great. And Stephanie, same questions to you. Are there things that you're looking to expand into? And then same thing, what's your advice to our viewers about how they can expand smartly?
So I'll answer the expansion question first. We're always looking, and I think as we've seen through the pandemic. I mean, we too have had, last year was our best year in the history of City Paper. And so much of that, I think, was because of us leveraging our relationships with certain suppliers and even just going outside of the industry to really be able to find resources to be able to serve people with the needs that they had for the pandemic. So I think that being open to having new revenue streams is something we should always be doing. I once heard a quote that the average millionaire has 7 different revenue streams at any one time. So why would we as an organization be any different? But I also think that we want to do that smartly, and we want to be able to do it in a way that really just adds value and not necessarily bogs us down. So always open to that. I would love to see us expand on our event design. We've done some trade show designs and like really helped with different event coordination. And I would love to see us really expand on those services, just from a more like guerrilla marketing and just being able to be more interactive with our customers other than just behind the scenes. So that, to answer what was the second question?
So
how to do it smartly.
Mhm.
Okay. So I think number one, it is understanding that your sales team is going to navigate. They're going to gravitate towards different lines of business that they're going to be comfortable with, but being able to continue to really push them into understanding and feeling comfortable in selling all of your different services. I think once somebody is able to dip their toe in the water with selling, we had a lot of packaging reps who never wanted to sell promotional products. And once they dipped their toe and they saw that the revenue could be great and that they could, get even more ingrained within a client and even stickier, they got excited about it. And most salespeople get excited by making money. So I think being able to really push your sales team to kind of step out of their comfort zone, number one. And number two, I think it is so much so really about having the right partners in place to really be able to help support your revenue expansion. I think looking outside of our industry sometimes can be a scary thing, but also it can be a really enlightening thing to see what other people are doing. And like Lee mentioned, I think that, and I totally agree with it, that sometimes we can get so stuck in our swag bubble that it's hard to look outside of that. But I 120% believe that that's a huge area of opportunity to be able to leverage what people are doing outside and being able to help incorporate it and bring it in.
Fantastic. Really great information from both of you. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for being here today.